hope you're all well. So today I want to, when I say I want to start a series, I hate to put a promise here which I might not be able to keep, or you know, something happens and plans change. So the idea is that hopefully throughout the months of summer I will have these botanical kind of illustrations, and I know you enjoyed those last year, and I really enjoy painting flowers in my garden. I have a bunch of beautiful flowers coming through now. It's the peonies and the irises, which I absolutely love, and then the roses are now also coming through as well. So hopefully one day I can take the camera outside in the garden, set it up so that I can kind of paint in the plein air, and you know, that's a dream, but it's a bit cumbersome to schlep everything outside and set it up there. But hopefully, who knows, hopefully I can do it. But for now I will start this series with botanicals in mind, but more of a modern version to it. Now, what is a traditional understanding of botanical art versus the modern botanical art? So in traditional, or we would take artists such as Billy Showell, Anna Mason, and many more. So basically it's the layering of the watercolor, the glazing of it, that predominantly explains traditional botanical art in the nutshell. And it is a really a slow process, because you need to let the colors dry completely in some cases, and it's a process that would take, you know, possibly days or weeks, depending on your schedule, to come to the final piece of painting. With modern, as everything is so fast in modern days, it also reflects in the botanical art. So it's really impactful. It is an instant result. So you would paint in a different style, usually without glazing. Usually it's just letting the color flow into a wet paint and just dry as it is, and that really cuts down on the time, on all of the glazing and the layering of things, and you get this instant satisfaction. So for it, I am going to use, first of all, let's start with sketchbook. So this is my oldie but goodie hardcover Stillman and Birn, and this is the Beta series, so the paper is nice and thick. I have really been enjoying Beta series a couple of years ago, and since I moved over to Strathmore, and I have been enjoying those sketchbooks. But this is a sketchbook that I dedicated to botanical art, and as you can see, I didn't get that far, well, actually sort of halfway in, and I would really like to finish it this year, and hopefully we can do it together. So I'll just show you a few things. I didn't date any of those, but I remember Mason was still kind of baby slash toddler, so it must have been a good few years ago. So this is a an artichoke I did from Billy Showell's one of her books. Trying to think. Anyway, I'll try to link all of her books up, and I've done loads of book reviews, so I'll try to link up the correct book for this artichoke up in the corner there. And so this is a straight up copy. I'm not ashamed to say that, because I was really trying to learn her techniques and things like that. I also have taken a bunch of her online classes, and yeah, this was super enjoyable, and this was just a quick illustration. I then ended up doing the proper finished piece, and it's hanging in my kitchen. That's what it is. Okay, let's move on. There's also a rose I did also from one of her books, which has a couple of flowers, I think maybe 2 or 3 roses there. I don't quite remember now, but Again, this was just a quick illustration, trying out different papers, and I realized I liked the more textured paper versus the smooth, although smooth is for traditional botanical art. Okay, then just a few kind of test studies. Here's some geraniums. There are some older videos on this, like tutorials. There's a sweet and a radish. Actually, it would be great to do a radish right now, because my radishes in the kitchen garden are doing really well. It's the French breakfast, and they look so pretty. It's the same style of a radish, or variety rather. It's the long elongated kind of radish. And then we have a bunch of other things here. So actually, I think I turned this lavender illustration into my stamp set for the wildflowers, and this one as well. So yeah, this I drew quite a few flowers quite a few years ago, and then flipping through this journal I realized I really liked the flowers, so I turned it into a stamp. A few other things here. So then you will also notice that I kind of liked to do black fountain pen outline, and here is a graphite pencil, which I actually really like as well. But then moving on, I started introducing different colored inks, and some of these inks are not waterproof. So what happens is that the lines kind of blur and they mingle with the watercolor, and they create this really interesting effect. So it could be a style on its own. Same thing here. So you can see here some of the areas the watercolor, maybe the ink has dried a little bit more, and then some of the areas it pulled in. So I really love this style. So there are different ways of picking your ink. If you wanted a crisper line, you can do it in just the black ink. So for my black ink, if I decide to use black, I would use the platinum carbon ink, which has fully 100% waterproof ink in there. I'm also going to use a pen for sketching. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a plant, we're going to test out some colors, we're going to do a little quick kind of draft drawing of the leaf, just to study the shape of it, and then you'll probably need an eraser. So for my pencil, I've got the Craft Gear 1000, and it's a 05 HB, and I have a dust-free Faber-Castell eraser. And then I also pulled out my green box of watercolors. So these are all of my greens, and I think there's one more from the newer colors that I bought. I haven't had time to place it into here yet. So these are my greens, and they are super convenient to use as they are out of the tube. So let's have a look, and I'll put Daniel Smith to one side. So I gave Daniel Smith, I think, about 2.5 weeks of a break where I really didn't want to use them, because you can see how much money I have invested into them. So that would be literally my tubes, and you can see that these dominate. These are beautiful colors. I have collected so many colors over the years. This is just one color group, but yeah, I have many. Actually, just as curiosity, I would love to count all of my Daniel Smith watercolors. So those are the colors I might pick out from from the stash. And what else? And I think I have a yellow raw ochre here just to hand in case I want to mix up a little slightly different tone to the color. So that's what I might do. Okay, so let's look at the plant of choice for today's illustration. Sorry for bumping the camera. Okay, there she goes. She's a bushy one. And I'll try to put her into the view. So this is the Calathea. So here is the name of the plant. Calathea, I believe. And let me just pop it back in. So this is the plant that we're going to be drawing today. Now she is gorgeous because she's so like a bunch of green. Look at that. And it doesn't take that much to look after. She's a really thirsty one, so she loves water. And she doesn't need to stand anywhere too close to the light. In fact, she doesn't like it. She gets a sunburn pretty quickly. So she's doing perfectly well just behind me on a little table just there. And she gives such a beautiful burst of green to my studio. The leaves are super soft and beautiful, and I love her. So I thought, why don't we attempt to draw her? I'm just trying to find a spot. Okay, so let's look at the leaves first. So this is the shape of the leaf. So kind of like a pepper shape, like a chili pepper shape. Elongated with a pointy end and slightly rounder base. So let's try and just kind of sketch it out a little. So I'm going to write down the name again. Okay, so Calathea, let's now look at the shape of the leaf. So like I said, we're going to start with a pencil. So this is a good exercise if you want to just study something, you know. So I'm going to try and sketch the shape. And it's okay if you don't get it right in the first instance. I'll do one facing this way, so sometimes it has a bit of a bend as well. This is where the leaf kind of curls, so some of the sides are flatter and some are a bit more wavy. And then it has like a line that follows here, and then it has these kind of darker shapes, which I think is what makes it quite attractive, like that. And let's see what else. Some of them are a bit more rounder, so like that. But mostly they have a point to them. No, actually all of them have a point. Just it was hiding. I forgot I had a little eraser on the pencil as well. Okay, so same thing here. We have got a line and these shapes. Now these shapes, if you want to have a closer look, they basically, if I just draw out one here, they start like that and then they have a longer bit right here. So they start kind of rounder just at the tip of the line that runs in the middle, and then you get a thinner part of it, which also tends to curl, so it's more like this, like that. So if we look at these ones here, so these would go that way and these would go this way, so like that. And then I'll put one here. Okay, so that's our leaf. Now let's study a few colors. Let's see, convenience color wise. So Schmincke Parylene Green is a good colour. If I wanted something quite dark, what's this one? Olive green. I think that should be enough. Let me just swatch them out a little bit. So here's our olive green. Here is our chromium oxide green. So if memory serves correctly, oh, this one had a bit of a, where is the toothpick when you need it? Bit of a separation. So what you do in that case is just stick a little toothpick until you get this kind of solid color here, and then you would just use it up here. Like that. And then this is a PG-17. I'll write down all the info as we go. Parylene Green by Schmincke is another great colour. Anyway, I don't have another toothpick. Here we go. We'll mix up on the palette. And then we have Sap Green by Winsor Newton. And I think, I don't know, the leaf green is a fun color to mix in, but I think I'll stay away from it. Yellow raw ochre. No, actually this is quite a juicy green, so I think I will use it just to add a touch of fun element. So these are our colors. So I'll try to mix this binder now together with the color. And just use up some of it here. This is obviously way too much. This is like gouache at this point. So I'm just going to now use some more water. Like that. Okay, so then let's see, the first one was Daniel Smith Olive Green. I love this color. It's gorgeous. It's got a perfect kind of green gold and rich green gold in there, but with a bit more kind of muddier toned down look to it. Then we have this color which needs to be mixed into the binder, and that was the Prussian, no, that was Parylene Green. Now at its darkest it's like black, so make sure you don't use that much. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. There we go. And then we have Sap Green by Winsor Newton. Great convenience color. It's quite easy to mix up yourself. And every brand does their kind of own take on Sap Green. Let's see. Oops. pigments are there? So PG36 and PY110. And now we have one more green, which is this quite out there fun color. I think every palette needs this color. It's just so fun and gorgeous, and for those days when you want an injection of bright, vivid, unusual colors. So those would be my greens. Now looking at it straight away, this is a very good match. So is this one and this one. So I'd say these three. Now, if I wanted to be extra, I'd start mixing things, and you know, and you totally can do it. I mean, I still left the this one here, the yellow raw ochre in the palette if I wanted to tone things down slightly, but right now I just want to show you how I would approach a fast way of doing things. So let's meet in part 2, and we're going to do the actual illustration.